So in the previous video, we looked at how you can use my walk cycle templates, which you can get from my course. And also if you sign up for my newsletter, you get a free set of walk cycle templates. And in the previous video, we actually looked at how you apply them and use them to set up your walk cycle. And what we're going to look at in this video is how we extend that walk cycle to more than 24 frames. So let's dive in. Thanks very much for dropping into my animation channel. I much appreciate it. So there's our guy walking across the scene here, and in the beginning of the walk cycle we've got the walk cycle templates, the skeleton in the background there, and you can see it only goes so far. It actually just goes 24 frames. So we want to work out how to extend that walk cycle. There's basically two ways that I use. One's a little bit better than the other one, but you can use either. There might be more ways to do it, but this is how I do it. And the reason I do this is I don't want to repeat setting up the walk cycle continuously. I want to use what we have and just apply it across another set or two of cycles. So the first way to do it is just to go and select all those keys in that first cycle there. Just go and select them all and then go to the next cycle, the beginning of the next cycle, and paste them in. I'm dropping them over. I've already done this. I'm just dropping them over that set, and you can see where they join. You can see there's a jump there. So this guy is set up in the hierarchy so that all the body parts come off his body here, which is that bit there with the right leg. So that's what we want to set up the next cycle on. We put the onion skin on the previous frame there, so it's getting the end of the first cycle, and then we can just set up the position of the start of the next cycle. And then what you'll see if you do it this way is it also jumps back, because every one of these frames here that we've got the body set on has copied the position of the previous set. So we need to go into every one of these and just set up on that axis there where the new set is. So a bit of a pain, but it's not a heck of a lot of work to do this. It can just become a little finicky, like we just got to keep changing where the onion skin is. Okay, so that's the one way to do it. I think I did it for this scene. Yeah, I did it for the scene. I did it this way, obviously, and it seems to have worked okay. So if we just play it out, there we go. And you can see he's walking through the two cycles. Okay, so that's the one way to do it. Just go and copy all those keys and paste them in the next section, and you can do that ad nauseum until you've got this guy walking far enough. So that's the one way. And then the other way that I didn't use in this actual scene, but let me show you anyway, because it's my preferred way of doing this, of extending a walk cycle or a run cycle, any locomotion cycle, is I like using, I'm working on OpenToonz here, and I like using sub-X sheets a lot. OpenToonz has this thing called sub-X sheets where it collapses all the columns, or you can collapse all the columns. And then it takes all that information from those columns and it puts it into a sub-X sheet, which is basically a file, if you want to think of it as a file, and it takes it all into one column, which you can also go and animate. So you can animate the sub-X sheet itself. So it makes complicated movements and extended movements quite easy and quite fun to work with. So that's my preferred way of doing this. Now to collapse these, just go and select all the columns that you want to collapse, and then there's a few ways to do this. You can go over to that icon there and press that, and that's a collapse. Or you can just right click when you've got all the columns selected and then scroll down to collapse there, and let's do that. So collapse, and that's disappeared. There it is there. Now it brings up this purple column. There it is there. So what it's done is it's stacked all those columns, all I don't know, 8 or 10 columns into one column here, and that's a sub-X sheet. So if we do that, then we can go and join these walk cycles together. So effectively, if you have one walk cycle, you can collapse it into a sub-X sheet and just go and copy and paste it and just go and join the ends. Go and patch it together. That's what I use a lot for my locomotion cycles, for my walk and run cycles. It's, to me, the easiest way to do it. It does have some drawbacks. It's not perfect. For instance, over here, we are just trying to find the beginning of the next cycle. So let's just move that set down. It should end on 271. And if we go and copy 1 to 271 and go paste it in there, that should be 2 cycles. And we can go and close that gap, bring that back up there. So we should have effectively 2 cycles here. There's the first one, and then the second one has jumped, and that's what we have to go and join up. So there's the end of the first one. We can Control Z and drop a key in there, and we can Control Z and drop a key in frame 1. As I say, I'm working with OpenToonz here, so it might be a little bit different with the program that you're using. It probably doesn't have something like sub-X sheets, but it may. And then we can go and grab the character and just using our onion skin go and put them in the right place so that the next set of sub-X sheets join there. Now the thing about sub-X sheets, and it's doing it here, is it often has a bit of dead wood at the beginning and the end of cycles, depending how you've set it up. It doesn't discern, it just takes all those columns and collapses them. So what happened in the scene is from 1 to about 200 to about 199, the character didn't walk. It's only from frame 200 that the character started walking. So we need to go and cut that out, and then we can just copy and paste that from 200 onwards. So that's what's happened there. And if we just go and, okay, there's the jump there. So it will be the end of 271 and the next frame will be 270. So that's basically the end of the one run of sub-X sheets, and then we are starting the next set there. And you can just join them up. So that honestly is my preferred way of extending walk cycles, and probably most of the animation that I do with walk cycles or run cycles, I do this. I use the sub-X sheets. It beats the heck out of the previous method that I showed you. There's probably more ways to do this. I just don't know how. And what I'm talking about here is using what you've got. Not, if you're gonna animate right across the screen, that's perfect. But I actually only want to do one cycle and then repeat it. So that's the two methods that I know how to use. If you have any other methods you can suggest, please do. And then the final thing is here at the end, we've actually already done this, but when the walk cycle finishes and also at the start, it's obviously different from the actual walk cycle itself. So we're just setting up the end of the walk cycle here where this character gets to the end of his walk and he just basically stops and his 2 feet come to a stop together on the ground there. Without going into too much detail here, it really is a case of using a lot of onion skins and go to the place where he stops, set that up, and then you can go back and finesse those limbs over so that they stop like that. And then once you've done the legs, you obviously can do the arms because they obviously stop moving as well. In this case, his arms come forward like that. And let's have a look at him here. Yeah, so that's basically it. That's just bringing him to a stop. Okay, and with this one, I want him to lift his head at the end there. So we can just go and tweak that. And there's our guy walking across, stopping and then lifting his head up like that. Okay, so that's basically how I created these walk cycles. And the next video that I'm going to make is how I created the smoke cycle here. There's some smoke coming off the barbecue here, and that'll be in the next video. So thanks very much for dropping into my animation channel. I really appreciate the support you guys give me, and I hope I'll see you again here soon. All the best. Bye.